Hey, welcome to Laugh Through the Turbulence in New York Jets podcast. It's February 20th, 2024. Just me, John, again. Just adding content because someone actually watched the last couple videos. So I'm just going to keep feeding that shit down your throats until whatever. What sucks is I was actually recording this before, but I got a call from somebody about a gig. So all my momentum was a little bit lost there, but whatever. But anyway, today's discussion, Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett. Just because there's rumors out there that the Jets are looking to pursue a backup, which I think was obvious to begin with. But one of the guys that have been circulating in terms of a trade candidate for would be Sam Howell, since it looks like Washington's going to move on from him after 2 years, which I guess is fine considering that, like, you know, he was a late round pick and he doesn't have, I guess, the stuff to really be franchise guy, and that's okay. But the other name that's been kind of thrown around there is the guy who was backing him up in a senior role, which was Jacoby Brissett. So and the reason why that name is mentioned is because DJ Reed, who was on Twitter and basically just like coughed his name out there because Brissett kind of tore us up in that game at the end of the year. So much respect. But basically, let's just kind of dig into it, right? Look at the two side by side. I like PFF a lot just because I do, and I have a subscription and I'm paying for it, and some of you guys are not or willing to, but it does tell a little bit of a story. So just kind of look at it right here. So basically what you got here is just both I put Washington and Jets quarterbacks on here just for the season of 2023. And if I have to go to Brissett, you know, I have to switch to Cleveland for last year. But this is what it looks like. And once again, small sample for Brissett, so mind you that. But basically, you got Howell and you got our boy Zach. It's basically the same grade. So essentially what it's telling you is that, like, you know, they're basically the same quarterback last year. And Zach was up and down last year. Howell was even up and down last year. So you're kind of getting the same thing there. But the only difference is Howell's got 2 years left remaining of his deal. And it's basically like $2 million for 2 years. So, and it's kind of perfect in terms of just like having someone go and sit behind Rodgers and maybe clean up the shit that he does, which is a lot of turnover-worthy plays. I mean, that's what this category is right here. Basically, 31 turnover-worthy plays, 21 interceptions. Zach was 12-7. So if you kind of just do that by a percentage, and this is the thing that's very key here. Basically, of Zach's throws, 2.6% of his throws were turnover-worthy. Howell's 4.1, which was very high for the league, and that should be concerning. Now, if we go to Brissett, just to look at his kind of page right here, obviously small sample last year. This is kind of where the bullshit is in the grades, to be totally honest. I mean, he got a 90 for the LA game, he was really good in that game, mind you. But the Jets game, he only got a 64 and a 59.8 passing grade. I mean, he was good against us, but all right, you know, as it is, right? But look at the basically the percentages on Jacoby's turnover-worthy playness. 3.1 last year in a major role. The year before, 3.6 in Miami. 2.8 in Indy when he had a major role there. 2.7. I mean, basically, he sometimes puts the ball in bad situations, but definitely not at the clip that Howell does. Now, is that correctable with Howell? Maybe it is. I would say this. Brissett has a higher floor for next year. No question. In the event that somehow God really hates us and he wants us to not have Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback, Brissett would probably get us to the playoffs. Is he going to win us the whole thing? Probably not. But he's going to get us to the playoffs. Yeah. And he would have last year because, I mean, he was just a better quarterback. And obviously, if you look at these grades the last couple of years, he's been getting better every year. This is no joke. A 74 passing grade in Miami, that's good. A 75.2 last year in Cleveland is really good too. So, like, you know, he does provide a high floor, and depending on what the ceiling is with them is very hard to say. I don't know, but I think it's a playoff berth, and maybe if the defense really carries you, maybe he can get us there, but I just don't know. Now, if we look at Howell, right? Let's go to Howell real quick. Once again, you're going to get mixed results. You're going to get some really ugly and bad, and you're going to get some pretty good games. Best game last year was against New England. I mean, yeah, he threw for a lot. He still had a pick. I mean, he had some 3 touchdown games, which is great, but overall it's very mixed and it can be very ugly and bad. Now, in contrast, if you want to look at Zach just for kicks, kind of the same thing. Some really ugly and some some really good stuff too. Like the Houston games, I thought Zach was fantastic. It was his best game. Mind you, the conditions were really bad that game. So there's that. I think if the Jets, they do need a plan after Rodgers, right? And Howell could be had cheap. That is totally fair. They could probably get him for like a 4th or 5th round, or maybe even later. But the thing is, that contract is really valuable. 2 years, $2 million. That's control. And Howell is very young. He's actually younger than Penix and Bo Nix, which is crazy to think about it because Howell's been in the league for 2 years. But with the way the college NIL deals are set up, guys are sticking around college football a lot longer. So, what should the Jets do? Should we go for Brissett or should we go for Howell? I mean, if you can get both, that'd be really sweet. I just doubt it. And I just know that Brissett, he's going to command some dollars this year for sure. I just think that, like, in all honesty, like, if you just look at the market value of a guy like that, which is like a very high-end backup, right? That's basically what he is. He's a high-end backup. And I'm just going to go over some of the options that are out there for backup quarterbacks. And by the way, Howell's not going to be on here because he's just $1 million per year for the next 2 years. But I mean, just look at some of these names, right? And obviously age does factor in here. Tannehill, just for context, he's going to be really low, $5 million, but that's Tannehill. And I think Tannehill's over the hill and done, but that's, I don't think I'm alone on that, to be fair. Tyrod, if we look at him, and this is kind of where I think it's going to end up because they're about the same age. I mean, Tyrod's a little older, 3.3. That's not a bad option either for backup, right? Baker's obviously going to be a lot. Gardner Minshew would be actually an interesting benchmark. Younger than Brissett, capable like Brissett. 5.3. So essentially, maybe that's what's going to cost to get Brissett. If that's the case, I would just do that because we just can't have what happened last year, which is just like season loss because of the quarterback. It sucks because, like, honestly, I think if Zach was able to actually sit back, I think he would have been fine. But that part of our history is over. Did we fail Zach or did Zach fail us? That's a debate that we can have. I think it's a little bit of a mix of both. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I just think that Jets, they need to solve backup quarterback, no question. I think doing it in the draft is a little tricky because pick 10 it needs to be used for one of those other needs with Aaron Rodgers in. Like, you can't use pick 10 to just back up Aaron Rodgers this year. You need pick 10, unless you had all the cap space in the world, which we don't. It's going to have to get a little tricky. Joe Douglas has his work cut out for him. But we just need to basically use pick 10 on one of those needs, whether it's offensive lineman, maybe that wide receiver role. We figure out offensive line and free agency. But it's got to be one of those two. Sorry. And then obviously, the bust rate gets bigger and bigger when you draft quarterback further and further back. So that's just kind of how it has to be, guys. Anyway, I recorded this without Monty and Adnan's permission or blessing. Whatever. You can leave comments. We do appreciate that. I'm probably the most annoying of the three of us. I also have the StreamYard account, so I can do this really easily. And I have more free time right now. Let me know what you guys think. Brissett or Howell? What would you prefer? Thanks for watching. And once again, fuck the Patriots. Fuck the Dolphins. Fuck the Bills. Go Jets.